Okay.
Welcome to another episode of the Beyond Woman Conversations. And today I have with me Carla Williams Johnson. And I am so happy that I caught up with Carla because she's so busy. Right, Carla? You're so busy.
I am though. I am. I'm all over. I swear.
I'm so happy that I have the opportunity to speak with Carla today, who is an award winning media marketing specialist based in Trinidad and Tobago. Her company, Carly Communications, offers marketing advice to entrepreneurs and business owners who are interested in building a business in the real world. I love that. She's been featured in many global publications, including Forbes, Huffington Post, Thrive Global, Business Digest, and many more. Welcome, Carla.
I never get used to hearing all of those things. Oh my God. Thank you so much. I never get used to it. I
And
swear.
listen to me, you don't need to because you really I see you in in social media and you're just working so hard and you're so passionate about your marketing. And I mean, I just can't wait to hear what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about a little bit on marketing, we're gonna talk about you and just, give tips in general to entrepreneurs to help them to fast track and to do better in terms of how they market themselves.
Definitely.
So I want you, I mean, we just talked a little bit about you in terms of what you've been up to, where people can find you and see you, the
Mhm.
celebrity that you are.
Oh my God. Oh my
But
goodness.
I want you to give our listeners rather a little bit more about who you are. Maybe talk about if you're married, do you have children, what is that kind of.
Oh, I have a joke. I have two children that
Okay.
are 18 years apart. I swear to you, my son just turned 3 and my daughter is gonna be 21 soon. And I don't know,
Wow.
listen, I am an example of, you make plans, but God has other plans in store. Because I swear, I don't know where my son came from. I'm happy. I love him to death.
It's
But
a blessing.
18 years is a very long
Oh my goodness, it is.
very long. And everybody I say that to, they laugh at me, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah,
But
it's
I,
okay.
but I want to ask what I want to ask what happened in between. But you know what?
I don't even know what happened. I swear, like I was asleep, and then I was like, oh my god, I have a son now. But that is my life. I mean, I love my life. Don't get me wrong, but having to deal with two different personalities at two complete different stages in their lives. My daughter, she's in university. She's coping with all of that online classes stuff, and she wants to go out and she wants to do this and she wants to do that. I mean, she's 21, right? We had our days. She wants her days, but unfortunately, with everything that's going on, her days are now online. And then my
Yeah,
son, he's living his best life. He doesn't care.
I'm sure.
He's living his best life, mommy catch me, and he's living his best life. But that, I love it. I mean, it keeps me on my toes, it keeps my mind going. It is a little difficult when I have to, it's very hard when you are, well, I shouldn't say hard, it's a little challenging, I should say, when you're trying to work from home. I've been working from home for a while, since about 2016. I've been working from home. But it's very difficult when you're working from home and you have a toddler that's all around and wants
Yes.
attention. So it has been a little challenging. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel it for the mompreneurs out there. You just have to kind of manage your time. You have to lean on whoever you can for help, whether it's your family, your friends, something, other moms out there, because we all are going through the same thing. And sometimes you just need a break, right? Sometimes you just need a little break from the mommy.
And I always say I am one of those women who find it hard to ask for the help because I
Oh,
understand what we're all going through. And I'm like, does another woman have time to help? But
I
we're
think that
supposed to
I think
support
that's
each
a
other.
West Indian thing. I think we've been taught for so long, you don't ask for help, you do without, or you manage, right? But I mean, gone are those days, right? Gone are those days. even in entrepreneurship, when we got into entrepreneurship, somebody told us that we needed to do this ourselves. Somebody told us that we don't ask for help. And I see a lot of business owners struggling because of that. They don't want to ask for help. But guess what? You're a genius at what you're a genius at. And that's great. But you need to now lean on somebody else who's a genius at something that you need in order to build your business. And one of those things is marketing, because people need to know who you are. People need to be able to find you so they can buy from you.
Okay, so you're getting a little bit ahead of it.
Like that.
Those are the things that, we're going to talk about a little bit more. But like I mentioned earlier, that seeing you on social media and all of the activities that you're engaged in, I see that you are absolutely, without a doubt, passionate about marketing. And I want to know what inspired that passion, and also what led to you forming Carla, or founding rather, Carla Media Marketing.
No problem. So I have always been the weird one, right? I was always the one that liked the commercials more than the show. I would always be the one that likes the print ads more than the actual like articles. I don't remember if you I mean, we're aging ourselves here, right? But I don't know if you remember those scratch and sniff type things that we used to have in the magazines.
No, I don't remember.
I remember.
I'm just
Uh,
kidding. I'm
I
just
know we're aging ourselves here, right? But I
Yes, yes.
always found that it was just so amazing that you could get people to do that with just a few words and a
Yes.
few. It's just amazing that how you can get people to move and do what you ask them to do. And I just love advertising for that. So I fell in with the whole advertising communications fraternity, and I went and worked a lot of big ad agencies. But the one thing I found was there were a lot of what I would call small to medium sized companies that were in the agencies, but I would see them getting bad advice from different people, right? Advice that didn't give them the return on interest. Now, I'm not saying that this was done purposefully. What I'm saying is that I saw it happening more often than it should. Because sometimes I would see a particular media house tell this person, you need to buy into this package. And I said, but this has nothing to do with their business. This is not going to get any returns. All this is going to do is pad the pockets of
Yes.
sales rep, right? And I
Yes.
hated that because as a small business, I know how hard it is for you to
And
earn
that's the
a dollar,
point. Yes,
right?
that's the
So you
point.
now need to, and you now trusting somebody to invest that dollar so that you can get returns, not to pad their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Carly Communications was born. That's when my media company was born, because I said to myself, there are so many business owners out there who are working hard, very hard, and they need somebody to tell them this is where you need to invest your money. Not someone that has something to get out of it because they're getting a commission, but because somebody really genuinely truly wants them to succeed. And I feel like I am that person, because I treat all my clients like their family. Like, I am there with you. I am holding your hand. If I feel like, you're not doing what you should, I will, I'll be like, listen, you need to make this call. You need to send that email. What's going on? What's happening? And that's how I am with all my clients. Because I also do know that there are times when you don't feel like doing anything and you don't feel like anything is moving forward and you need a little pep talk, to keep going. I am that person for you because I want you to succeed. So,
Yes.
long story short, I just really feel like building a business should not be difficult. You should not feel stressed. You should not feel like you're running like 100 miles per hour on a treadmill. It should not feel that way. It should feel happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's a lot of work, but it shouldn't be negative. And that's where I come in. I help you take all that negativity and confusion out of the way so you can have a clear path forward on what you need to do.
Awesome, awesome. Because you know what? I can agree to some extent. There is a fear where I'm concerned, being an entrepreneur, about maximizing the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're just starting out, you need to ensure that whatever resources you have stretches
Yeah.
in the most effective way. And I really have come across situations where I
Mm-hmm.
see persons taking advantage of others, you know. So, I mean, that is very important, I believe, to an entrepreneur to ensure that they have somebody who is on their side and want them to really succeed, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So that's a really, really good point that you just made. All right, you and talking about businesses succeeding, I want you to help us to see, because listen, when you are, I don't want to call it, it's not really a one-man show, but once again, we go back to limited resources, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. I want you to help me or any other entrepreneur understand why it is that we need to be focusing on marketing. I mean, wouldn't the product or the service sell itself? You know, why is it that we need to go down that road?
I mean, if that were true, we'd
Share the
all
passion with
be.
us.
If that were true, we'd all be Kardashian rich, right? We'll all have a pool with a pool boy named Raul. We'll all be living the life. I mean, if that were true, but unfortunately, it's not. The fundamental truth of marketing is that if you don't market your business, then nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows you exist. Nobody knows that you can help them. The second fundamental truth of marketing is people need to understand that it's not a one size fits all, right? What is good for you is not going to be good for somebody else. So if you see somebody doing a particular thing and it's working for them, trying to copy that into your business is not going to work. So what I try to do for persons is I say to them, listen, based on your goals, based on your audience, based on your business, and based on your budget, this is what we can do. Because you'd be amazed how far a great strategy and a small budget could take you. Once you
Mm-hmm.
are focused and you have that plan and you know, okay, these are your next steps. You can work with little to no budget, but be focused. It will take you a little longer, but once you are focused, it can take you very far. Because what happens is that a lot of people, and I've seen it with a lot of entrepreneurs, they like to throw money at the problem instead of trying to fix it. So they have the money, they have the budget, but they don't know how to fix it. So they panic buy in their business. They panic buy. Oh, I need to set up an email system. Oh, I need a funnel. Oh, I need this. But they don't have a strategy in place. So you have all these things, but you don't know how to use them, right?
Right,
So
right.
a strategy, and that's what I do with all my clients. I figure out what is the plan, what is the strategy, where do we want to go, and how do we get there. And then these are the tactics that we're going to use to build your business, whether that is visibility, whether that is sales, whether that is brand awareness. There are different reasons to promote yourself. Ultimately, these things will lead to a sale. But what is your initial goal? Most important.
Hmm. So it's important for someone with limited budget, I'm getting from you, to just pinpoint, along with a marketing expert, of course,
Yes.
pinpoint a specific area at a time that
Mm-hmm.
they can deal with rather than just seeing somebody doing all sorts of things, because a lot of that takes place on social
Yeah.
media. You
Yeah.
know, it tends to, well, from, let me speak for myself. It can overwhelm a
It
person,
can. It
you
can. And
know,
it
if you
also
don't know
can
what
make
you're
you,
doing.
it, yeah, it can make, I just got to say that it could also make you feel like you're not doing enough, right? It can make you feel like, oh my God, this person, she's doing so well and I'm still here. Well, she is probably doing well on social media, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, right? Social
Yeah.
media can fool people into thinking things are great, right? It can just
Mhm,
be a facade and then things are a
mhm,
mess behind the scene.
mhm.
So that's one important thing I would say for all entrepreneurs. Don't compare yourself to others. You don't know what's
Right.
happening behind the scenes, right? You focus on your journey and what you have to do.
Mhm, mhm. And then another thing that, I mean, just came to mind was this whole matter of people just focusing on social media to engage marketing activities. I mean, what about traditional marketing, print, those kind. Talk to us a little bit about that.
No, I've realized, and maybe this is a West Indian thing, but we have a little love-hate relationship with social media, particularly Facebook, right? We have a little bit of dependency upon Facebook and, number of likes and number of followers and number of comments and all of these things, right? These things are not important. If every follower was giving you $1, then that's great, but they're not, right? And we have this, we tie our worth as human beings, as business owners, to
I need
these
to ask one
numbers.
question. I need to ask one question. What do you mean it's not important?
It really isn't. What is important is what you do with those followers, what you do with those comments, what you do with those numbers. How does it convert from these wonderful people that are following your tribe to sales? I know so many
Mhm.
people, they have so many followers, right?
Right, right.
They're struggling because there's no strategy. Whereas they might have somebody that may seem like they don't have a lot of followers and they are living the life because they have a plan, right? So I will never say don't be on social media. As a matter of fact, be where you know your audience is and really build that community, but have a plan, right? And as you mentioned before, there are all these different other tactics that you can use. I love publicity. Publicity works for me. Being featured in all of these different publications adds credibility to what I'm doing on social media. And it also drives people to find out more about me because when I show up and and you hear me speak, and you know that what I speaking is the gospel truth, you will go to social media to see if I'm actually, if everything is matching up, the kind of content that I post. You may decide to like or follow me, or you may decide to book a consultation depending on what my call to action is. So actually utilizing other forms of other tactics in marketing works. Direct marketing, that's a tactic that could be used. Cold calling, depending on who your audience is, that is a tactic that you can use. So living the life on social media does not necessarily work for a lot of businesses. I'll give you another example. I had a client who set up house on social media, and she never made a sale. And I told her, I said, sweetie, this will never happen to you for you because social media is not where your people are, right? Your people are, you need to get in front of them. Her target was much older people. I said, but here's what we can do. We can showcase your events, all your activities on social media, make it sort of like an online resume per se, and use that to get sponsors to sponsor your event. That's how we can use social media for you. And that's exactly what worked. Well, pre-COVID, that's what worked because her events were very much in person and face to face. Now
Okay.
we're working on a strategy to move it online. But my point is, how you use social media really gives you bang for your buck. Social media is not for selling. It really isn't. Social media is for building relationships, getting people to know, like, and trust you. And then
Mhm.
that would eventually lead to a sale, just like any other tactic out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that we're just being misled, but I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of persons out there who understand that they have to create the balance and they
Yeah.
have to find where their clients are or their market is. Because I am a sales driven person, and I know that nothing beats putting yourself where the clients are if it means for you to go and sit in front of them. A
Yeah.
lot of us want to just resort to looking pretty
Yeah.
on social media, but I don't think that that is the be all end all. So I want to get a little bit into that thin line there. So there is public relations,
Yeah.
there is branding,
Yeah.
there is marketing, there is advertising. And I just believe that there is a very thin line between each of these. I want you to help us to understand how marketing stands out in the midst of all of that. Why would I need, if I'm engaged in a PR strategy, why do I need a marketing strategy to go along with it?
Okay. So one step back. Marketing is everything. everything.
Marketing, that's at the top.
Yeah, marketing is the matriarch. She in charge, right?
Okay.
She
Okay.
sets the plan. Marketing is what your why, your how, your goals, who you're gonna talk to. It's also, how it's everything. It's everything. It's before sales, it's during sales, it's after sales service, it's everything, right? Branding is how you show up. Branding is how you want people to feel during the entire process. When people see your logo or see your font, or they want, what I always say is, like, you have a personality that would attract certain people to you that you can be friends with. Your business has a personality that attracts a certain person, right? So how you put yourself out there is branding. How you want people to feel is branding. Advertising is the vehicle that you use to let people know that you have what it is that they need. So advertising is the specific tactics that you use. Those tactics can look like TV, radio, press, social media, billboards. Like, it can look like anything, but advertising is, what do I use to let people know that I have what they want, right? That's it.
Mm-hmm.
PR gives you the credibility. A PR strategy says, okay, my branding, I want you to feel a certain way. This is what I want you to buy from me through advertising. PR backs that up. PR is the credibility. PR is how you're sure that when you buy from me, this is what you're going to get. PR kind of solidifies everything together. The glue, per se, that holds everything together. So yes, there are a lot of overlaps, right? There are a lot of overlaps, but you need everything. You need everything in order for it to
So
work.
are you saying to me that as a business owner, I'm going to need, so if I engage you for a particular project or whatever to do something specific for me, are you saying to me you're gonna bring on a PR specialist and a marketing specialist and a brand,
So
or
lucky,
or because you are so au fait with this marketing and it is at the top of everything, or it is in the lead, it's the one that everything else follows. I would need to go to somebody else for PR and
correct.
brand. Okay. Okay. So you're saying that a marketing person does everything. Is that what
What
you're saying?
I'm saying for you is, lucky for you, I am versed in all of it. Now, there are people who specify in certain things, right? Which,
Right.
if you need that, that's great. But you still have to know how it fits into everything. You can't
Right.
engage a PR specialist, but your branding is off. You can't engage a branding specialist, but your advertising doesn't reflect the feelings and the emotions of the look of your branding, right? You need somebody that has an idea of it all, that can help you say, well, okay, this is what you need to, this is what you should look like, this is what you should say, this is the media that you should be involved in, and this is how you market everything before, middle, and end of the
Okay.
process.
So you pretty much can help us to save a dollar.
Of course, because it doesn't make sense if you're not clear on the strategy. That's what I do. I give you the strategy, and then from the strategy, these are the tactics that you have to employ in order to get it. I would be the first to say, I am not versed with Facebook ads and Google ads and stuff like that. But I can tell you, based on your business, if that's something that you need to
That
employ.
you need.
Then you
Okay.
can go and look for a specialist to help you do that.
Okay, okay, awesome, awesome. All right, so once again, I'm going to refer to a business owner who has very, very tight resources. What is one most effective marketing strategy that you would suggest? Something that may be a one size fit all to this entrepreneur to help them to
Hmm.
engage and market their business, their product, their themselves, whatever it is that they need to do at a particular point in time.
That is a hard question, and I'll tell you why. We need to figure out what the plan is first, and that would tell us what we need to do. There are some clients that I would say, invest in social media, do some organic posting, this is the content strategy that you would use, and maybe run a few brand awareness ads to build your credibility online. Some
Mm-hmm.
people, I would say, don't bother with paying any money on social media, build it organically, but use press to build your credibility and drive people to your social media. Some
Mm-hmm.
people, I would say, you know what, make a list of all the people you want to work with, because your niche is very small. Get on the phone and get on in contact with each one of them and sell your package, because anything else is just a waste of your time, money, and energy. So I would say have a plan first. What is that plan, and what does that plan look like? What is the goal? What is the end goal? Yes, we know the end goal is to make a sale, right? But if no one has ever heard about you, if no one has ever heard about your product or service, how do we get people to know about you? That means we need to build brand awareness first, and that may lead to a sale. And brand awareness could look like doing a webinar. It can look like, doing a what do you call it? An infographic that people can download. It could look like doing a video or a video series so people could get to know about you and what you do, and have people opt in to get more information from you, right? What does that look like? So
Mm-hmm.
I would say strategy first, and then strategy will dictate anything else you have to do after that.
Okay, so in marketing, there is no one size fits all.
There really isn't. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I had to ask because let me tell you, there are persons who, even if they are thinking about engaging an expert, they also want you to give them something to start with, you know? So I was just wondering if there was a one size fits all. So we spoke a little bit about the fact that you've been featured in these prominent outlets, such as Huffington Post, the Forbes, Thrive Global, on podcasts. You're just all over the place. And when I mean all over the place, I don't mean like you're like a headless chicken. You're all over the place, but you're strategically all over the place. I'm assuming. So I want you to tell me what has been. I think you alluded to it before, but let us just talk a little bit more about it. What is it that those opportunities, first of all, how did they come about, and what have they done for you? Just give us a demonstration so that persons can understand why they should engage in being featured in these publications and so on. And I know that's a little bit about a little bit more on the PR side, but just tell us how
Well,
marketing fits into that and how it helps
well,
on media.
Well, PR fits into marketing. Remember,
Right.
marketing is the matrix, right? So PR fits into marketing. Now, I have always been an advocate for traditional media. I always feel like traditional media has its place. And yes, there are things that you wouldn't do anymore with traditional media. However, PR is very important, because anyone with a internet connection and a laptop or a phone could just open a page or create a website and call themselves an expert. But nothing says that you know your stuff more than a reputable media house saying, oh my God, I need to feature this person because they are doing well and they have something to say. So that in itself is a reason to use publicity in your business, because you need that credibility to establish yourself as a leader in your industry. So that's the first thing. The second thing I would strongly advise is, you see right now how everything is, people need help in different aspects. When March 2020 hit, March 2020, in my opinion, was the longest month of the year. March 2020 had like 3,000 days in it. It took forever to end, right? But here's what I did. I showed up to to help them figure out how to use productivity, how to be more productive, sorry, at home with a toddler. I showed up to entrepreneurs to help them figure out how to build their business and how to pivot given what's going on. I showed up to women entrepreneurs to show them how to build their business, not just locally, but internationally, regardless of what's going on in the world. So I used the pandemic to showcase my knowledge, my experience, my information, so to help other people. And that's a good reason to use publicity for any other business owner, because what you know is valuable. And what you know is needed to be known by somebody else. And you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed that the things that are in your head that people don't know about, and they will be dying to find out, right?
True.
And I feel sometimes we are so close to our business, we don't realize it. We don't realize it, but we people need that source of inspiration. I remember I
Yes.
showed up in Barbados and people were so inspired, and it had nothing to do with Cali Communications. It just had to do with me building my
Right.
business during a pandemic. That's all it was, right? And people were so inspired. And I remember getting calls and emails, and people were like, "Oh my God, if you could do it, I could do it too." And it was just me. It was just me being
And
me.
and the thing about it is that I can confirm all of what you're saying because you showed up on social media. That's how did I meet you? Wasn't it just on social media
Yes,
because you
that's
showed
it.
up?
Yeah. And I was just being myself. I wasn't trying to
Yeah.
promote anything. I wasn't trying to sell anything. I just wanted to help people grow and be inspired. And that's what I did. I shared my story, right? I shared
You
my
were rewarded for it, weren't you? Because I think I read somewhere where you were given an award for top
yes,
market something.
I was one of the marketers to follow for 2020, one of the top marketers to follow for 2020. And that is just because I shared my story. And then I got an email in my inbox saying, "Oh my gosh, I've been following you for a while and this is great stuff. And I've added you to my list of top marketers to follow." I was
Yes.
expecting that. It just happened. And
Mhm.
that's another thing with social media, right? Sometimes the people that are following you, like truly following you, and followers, they're just, checking you out from the side, right? And I have heard
That's
people say
true.
they read my content every day
That's
and they
true.
have never liked a comment. They have never, I've never had much interaction with them. And they say, "I look forward to your content every single day." And I'm like,
Yes.
well, yay.
And I love your content. And I think this is a really good
Thank
segue for me to ask you this question. What is that one thing that drives you and keep you going, even on those days when you don't want to do anything?
my people. I see people struggling all the time, and these scammers, they don't feel anything. While I'm struggling with my imposter syndrome and my this and my that, they're not suffering from nothing. They just come, they swoop in, they go, right? And I want to save people from people like that. I want to say, you are working hard, too hard to give somebody your money and they're not going to do anything with it. I have been there. I have wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars on people that said that they can help me do this and do that, and they did nothing. They did absolutely nothing. So I know what that feels like. And I would never want anybody to regret this investment or to regret making a particular move, to regret having to save up to make that move and not get anything in return. That is not fair and that is not right. So that's what really drives me, the fact that I know that there are people out there that need my services, that need my help, and know that they have somebody in their corner that is really for them and not just
Right,
for
right,
money.
right, right. And we need that. I'm not, that's another conversation in and of itself. Tell me about a failure that you might have had and how you bounce back from it.
I feel like in business, we've had a lot of failures. There's things that we do, people that we meet, investments that we made that we realize we should not have done that. And you just have to learn the lesson. So, to answer that question, I had to learn the lesson. I've walked into, you know, um, client relationships where I just knew, just based on how they were, that this isn't going to work out, and I don't wanted to prove to them that I can do it or whatever was the reason, right? I think there was actually one particular that I remember. There was a gentleman and he was just on a different level. He was very sexist and stuff. And I remember wanting to prove to him that I could do it. And I remember wanting to prove to him that I was different. I was different from all these other people, and I could help his business succeed and everything. And I knew it was a red flag, but I still went in anyway. And it was the most draining experience ever, trying to get money. He was trying to I think he saw my weakness, so he was trying to milk me for all that I could. He would ask questions and not want to pay and stuff like that. It was just a very heavy experience. And I was so glad when that contract was over. And I don't know if he's still in business now, to be honest, but I do remember saying to myself, you must always trust your gut. My
Yes.
intuition never leads me wrong. And sometimes I ignore it and I have to deal with the consequences of it. So for me, it's always, what is the lesson here? For that particular instance, the lesson is always trust your gut. But for every mistake that I've made, I am not perfect. Don't let anybody hear me say that, but I'm not
Yes.
perfect. But I always make sure and learn the lesson.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I understand that because I have been in situations like that where there's just this thing that says, don't do this or don't. As a matter of fact, let me just share with you briefly that I remember I was supposed to go on a trip somewhere. And the night before, like there was just something that kept saying, don't go, don't go, don't go. And let me tell you something. I went
Mm-hmm.
against that instinct and I ended up being in an accident.
Oh
And it
God.
could have been a really awful accident had I been awake, but I was sleeping.
Wow.
So yeah, we must always trust that gut feeling, that instinct, and don't go against it. What does success look like for you, Carla?
Success looks like my people succeeded. I mean, people say it, but they don't mean it. But I genuinely feel happy when I see my clients do well. I
Mm-hmm.
genuinely feel happy when I see they have that, that eureka moment where, everything kind of comes together in their head. It's like, oh my God, I didn't think of that. And and they start to put things in place and they see the progress and they build that momentum. That keeps me going because that means that yet again there is somebody showcasing themselves to the world who will now be able to help somebody else.
Awesome, awesome. That's always a good thing. It's such a selfless thing, and I think that's the best way to go. So, with all that's happening in the world and the fact that we're pretty much online now, I'm assuming that you're not only for persons in Trinidad and Tobago. Is that you help other persons? You're
Of
available
course. Yes.
to help
Yes.
other persons. All right. And of course, you'll be including how persons can contact you um, at the end of the podcast or in the information section. All right. So we are pretty much at the end, and I mean, this has been short and but packed with, I believe, a lot of information. But I want you to share with entrepreneurs, whether they are new to entrepreneurship or they have been traveling the road and there's a little bit of struggle or challenge, just share some tips, leave some tips with them and guidance as to how they can, succeed a little bit more, so to speak.
Well, I would say for one, I mean, we're all experiencing this little bump in the road with everything happening in the world right now. My first thing would be to don't give up. Like, don't give up. I don't care what position you're in. There are people out there that need you. Reach out and ask for help. Ask. There's no shame. There's no shame in it. That's the first thing. The second thing I encourage collaborate. I remember hearing this statement years ago and it stuck with me. Collaboration is the currency of entrepreneurship. There is growth and strength in numbers, and we need to get together as business owners and build that community, come together and help as many people as possible. So make sure to find someone, partner with somebody to bring something great to help people. And that's the third thing. Be people focused. Be focused on your audience and helping them succeed. Once you shift from, it's about them and helping them do what they need to do and helping them showcase whatever it is that they do, and you take the pressure off of yourself, it becomes so much easier and it becomes so much clearer. right? And lastly, I just want to leave a special word to the introverts out there, because I know you all are existing, and you all have a lot to deal with. I myself, I mean, I'm no introvert, but I understand what it is that you're dealing with, because you know it's all about energy. It's all about energy, and you don't put it in something and it doesn't come. I understand. I get it. What I would say to you is, envision yourself as a superhero of sorts, and I want you to see yourself the way your clients, the way your audience, the way your ideal target sees you, which is like the best thing that could ever happen to them, and the best thing that could come into their lives. And the minute you shift your focus from, oh my God, I don't think I could do this, to these people needing you and you are saving them from something, I promise you everything is going to get easier. Make it about the people that you're saving, because trust and believe, there are people who don't feel anything that are taking from them, and you are, I'm positive, you're better, you're more knowledgeable, you can do it. You're just leaving money on the table because you're allowing yourself to be more focused on yourself and not the people. So I implore you, please put yourself in that position, and really see yourself as the savior. Well, not the savior, but the superhero for these people, saving them from something. So I hope
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I am listening to that last point, and it is so true. When we shift our focus, the wonders that it can do to our psyche. You know, take it off for you, stop thinking about your limitations, and think about the fact that you're here with a unique gift to give to others, and a unique ability to do what only you can do. And that's just an awesome, awesome way for us to conclude our conversation. I mean, it has been filled with a lot, like I said before, and I really, really appreciate the fact that you took the time out, because I know that you're busy. Like, I really know.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I had a really good time, and I love what it is that you're doing, and I love the community you're building. So
thank you, Carlo. So we'll talk. All right.
Okay, thanks.